Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, where everything you're about to hear and see has been done in one take. I am your host, the One Take Man, and welcome to my 4-year anniversary video. Have to say, it's kind of crazy. I've been doing this thing for 4 years. I am currently 32, so I've literally spent an eighth of my life, talking about this. And actually, if you are to look at, the you are to look at it from the time for the time I've been an adult, since I've turned 18, it's more like a third of my life has been spent with, with a YouTube presence accompanying my actions. I will say it's not exactly been it's not exactly been smooth, and it's not exactly been fruitful to a certain extent either, because after 4 years I still have a double-digit number of subscribers. So there hasn't been much of an extrinsic motivation for me to continue to do this. But I have to say, from an intrinsic perspective, uh, having this channel has really changed me, has really made a difference to the way I think of uh, and uh, relate to a lot of things around me, and various things about myself as well, to some extent. I I found myself doing something I very much like and would very much like to keep doing, to the point where I even have plans concerning uh, how to make it work in the future. And it is some of those plans that I would like to share with you, in a sense to no, in a sense partly to build up anticipation, partly because I want to showcase my interest, that which makes me enthusiastic, because there are a few things that I would uh, that I want to highlight, because these are things that do directly interest me, and that I hope to share with with as many people as are willing to accept it. They might be more willing to accept it if I did some more crazy edits and stuff, rather than just being uh, the guy who does everything in one take, um, and maybe even get some better gear. But for now, this is what I've got. This is what I'm working with, and these are the ideas that most directly interest me. So I have here my notes, where I keep the video ideas I'm going to be implementing in the near future, and and I'm gonna read some of them out to you. There are some that are, when it comes to my ideas, there are some that are free floating and more or less always an option. So these are ideas that I could revert that I could go to if nothing else is available to me. Um, and there are some ideas that have fixed schedules, or fixed dates I would want to approach them on. And and I, and throughout this video, I won't really talk about all of them, but rather I will talk about the ones that I intend to see that I intend to carry out over the course of the rest of this year. I don't have the entire rest of the year mapped out, but I do have some but I do have some points that I want to more or less build my schedule around. So, with that lengthy introduction out of the way, it's time I started. Beginning with the video that is going out next week. What D&D class are you? This was a this was a quiz that was popular around 2 months ago, as of the time of this video's release, not production. And when the time came and I discovered the quiz, I thought, why not? I should dig into it. When I looked into my release schedule, however, I realized that it would come out, right at the end of June, when perhaps this meme would be dead. But it is likely some other meme would still bring D&D to the forefront, because to some extent D&D is evergreen. There is always a community that is interested in it as a concept, in playing it, and maybe even in talking about it. So who knows? By the time by the time next week's video comes out, D&D might once again, reach semi-popular attention again, hopefully. Next up in July, I don't really have anything for the 6th planned, or at least not directly. However, next month, or the following week, on the 13th, I have something actually meant to that is actually meant to celebrate the 14th, i.e. the French national holiday. Namely, I want to talk about a game that I've done both a quick play and a review on, and I mean a video game, namely Ambition: A Minuet in Power. I've recently did my fifth playthrough of it, just to get in touch with it again, because I want to think about what a sequel would look like. I have some ideas, and those ideas will get fleshed out in in their own video. After that, I'll be closing out the month with 2 Stargate videos. Stargate has always been an interest of mine, more of a more of a silent one. I don't recall really ever talking about it on this channel, and I thought I would showcase my connection to this franchise as well I'm doing so by using an opportunity that one of the producers of the show actually presented, by talking about the villains and the impact they've had on the series as a whole. First of all, I'm going to be using the framework that the producer set up on Twitter, and then I'm going to take that framework and adapt it to my own needs and interests. Following that up, August is also going to be pretty crowded. Starting with the first weekend of August, which is the SummerSlam weekend for most pro wrestling enthusiasts. And I have talked about pro wrestling on a few occasions in this in this channel's history so far. But I've talked somewhat generically. Now, on SummerSlam weekend, I want to talk about something a little bit more specific, namely about the biggest missed opportunity of of that event, or at least as far as or at least the biggest one I've been able to notice ever since I've been following wrestling, namely how I would book the Nexus. Because that is another topic I have some ideas on, and I want to present some of these ideas. The rest of August is a little bit more mixed in terms of activities, because I really only have 2 that I've spelled out here. First of all is going to be another quick play video, this time of a video game version of Battleship. Because I've played some variation of Battleship for a long time, as I mentioned in my video about what I think the perfect game of Battleship would look like. So, but around this time I made that video, I also made this quick play video. So I thought I would use the opportunity to I would use another opportunity, which is actually discussed in the video, to talk about the video game, or so you can see how I typically think, strategize when it comes to playing that game. There might not be much to it, but there is enough to it for me to be engage in it. So that's what I'll be showcasing. And then at some point, during the month, I'll also be talking about how I would how I would make a Superman video game. This is something that mm, that has come up somewhat within within comic book discussion circles, particularly when considering the success of the Batman Arkham games, and then later on with this with the success of the Spider-Man PS4 and by now maybe even PS5 games. Um, is something that I think would be is something that I think uh, would present an interesting opportunity and challenge to talk about in terms of game design and stuff like that. Keep in mind, I am not a professional anyway. I am simply an enthusiast, both of the medium and of the characters. So this is very much going to be a rough collection of my impressions. Moving on, the first week of September is once again going to feature a return to Stardew Valley. I want to showcase the how the first days of autumn within that game look like, because I pretty much set out to do a little video gameplay within each within each season as it is portrayed in the game. I don't know. I just thought it would be fun, and I thought I'd let you know I'm going to continue this not just in September but also in December. But we'll get to December later. The other video I'm considering for for September, or the other video I have in mind, is where did I actually? Oh yeah, here. How I would make a Tick movie. I noticed that the Tick animated series or cartoon, whatever you want to call it, is has its 30th anniversary this year, and given I given I very much enjoyed this series, and looking back on it, there were still some crazy and exciting things going on within it that nevertheless I still think are very interesting and bound to capture some attention. I thought I would take a little dip into the franchise and talk about how how I would work on a possible continuation. The rest of September is pretty much unplanned, but then we reach October, and within October I have some more plans. They are perhaps horror adjacent for the most part. They are somewhat more connected to fantasy. So it's horror adjacent fantasy for the most part. Starting on October 5th, with the 20th anniversary of the debut of Angel, the series. You'll remember the companion piece to the other Buffyverse show. And while it does have that reputation of being the other Buffyverse show, and therefore perhaps intrinsically less having less merit or being less noteworthy, I still think it is worth a deeper look. And I thought I would talk about the 10 best episodes of that series. What they are, what makes them distinctive, and what their impact is, and how they manage to stand out from the pack. Following that up with my October 12th video, which is going to tackle another fantasy TV franchise. This time, however, it's Charmed, because it's a show I have some thoughts on, given I've also seen quite a bit of it, and even some analyses of it. Primarily Alison Pregler's Charmed Rewind, I will, I'll freely admit that I've spent a lot of time watching that. And something that I really noticed is that even though Charmed has had 8 seasons, a follow-up comic, and a reboot, it still didn't really know what to do with itself and with its premises. The best it could do was touch upon womanhood, sisterhood, and what that what that looks like within a modern for the time, or generally contemporary setting. And honestly, I have to say that womanhood isn't a theme. Sisterhood could be a theme, but but overall, it didn't really know how to integrate that with the with the magics, with all the magic that the show was building upon, and that left it a muddled mess from a thematic perspective. And from an and from that point for and from that point, any other observation that could make is will ultimately still be colored by that by that mess that the show got itself into but couldn't crawl out of. So while I'm not gonna pretend that my idea is the best possible idea for this show, it is nevertheless something I want to present. And for those of you who are wondering, here's a little hint as to how I think it should have worked. Supernatural meets Charlie's Angels. Yeah, that's my pitch for what Charmed should be. But more on that when the time comes. On October 19th is actually going to be a video where I revisit a topic that I've already talked about in the history of this channel, or to be more precise, in the very early history when I didn't even script my videos, or where I would talk when there were videos on specific topics, I would I would simply have talking points written down and then kind of build a speech around those spontaneously. So yeah, that was before I scripted my videos regularly. That's why I call it the early history. This video is going to be somewhat different because it's going to be a return to Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. And to be more precise, it's going to be my look into how Johnny the Homicidal Maniac could be adapted within a cinematic format. Yeah, this is another thing I've spent some brain space developing, and it is something I want to showcase. And then in the last week, and then in the last ish week of the week of October, on the 26th, I'm going to break somewhat from this convention and present to you my review of the 1994 Stargate movie. Yeah, I already by then I will have already done 2 videos on Stargate, and while I was thinking about these videos, I realized that, or rather I remembered that I never actually saw the 1994 movie, which arguably kickstarted the franchise. So that is very much what I want to do. I want to go and see where it is that this franchise started, and see and assess its beginning. Following that up in November, Courage the Cowardly Dog Month free. Yeah, I am revisiting this animated franchise again. Though I do have to say I only have 3 video ideas for that month so far. One of those ideas could spin off into into a series of videos, maybe even two. Maybe even two of those ideas could spin off into multiple. But then again, I have made like huge videos for huge, very long videos for Crazy Cowardly Dog Month um, up until now in previous years. So I really have no problem doing it again. I might actually visit some old some old Flash Crazy Cowardly Dog games, assuming I can still find them, or assuming someone was able to translate into some other format. Maybe I'll be able to, or maybe I'll do something really crazy and like develop a trivia game or something. So yeah. Anyway, those are my options. Then around comes December, and uh, I already mentioned that I have a. I already mentioned that I will do a video on Stardew Valley in the beginning of September, or or in this case, the beginning of September would be something like the would actually be the I think would actually be the 7th of September. So yeah, arguably still the first third, but that would be when the first video of September would drop. Then the following videos of the month would be a lot more political. Not in terms of partisan politics, but rather politics in the administrative technocratic sense. Because that is something I find that a lot of people have opinions on, but don't really know how to delve into. Don't really talk about. And that is something I want to explore a little bit more. I will also try to have fun with it because it's important to have fun. Still, I want to get a message out, and it's perhaps not going to be too different from other messages you've heard, but it might be packaged in in an interesting manner, and as such, and yeah. That's basically the deal. It's something I want. It's something I want to talk about, and it is something that I would, that I hope others will be engaged in as well. And that way we reach year's end, and in January, while those videos won't come out until next year, obviously because they're in January. I will still be making them over the course of this year, and over January. I will be doing Daft Punk Month 3. The previous months have been about the album releases of the French house duo. This time I'm going to be talking about the video releases. So their movies, their compilations, etc. I want to also give you my impressions on those. I don't necessarily think they'll be more. I don't really think they'll be more impressive than their, bread and butter, their studio albums, and in general their audio output. But I still think it is worth. Mentioning because for the most part it is still their endeavors, and they have been active participants in terms of also defining what those are and what those look like. So therefore it is very much a part of their legacy, and a part of their legacy that I want to present and get to know on a more get to know better on a more personal level. And yeah, those are all the videos I have. I have plans for as of right now. I'm not going to say these plans are subject to change, but I will say that these plans are subject to expansion. So there will be more coming out over the course of this year than just what I've been able to tell you so far. So yeah, I very much hope you enjoy it. Then nevertheless, assuming you enjoyed this little look into the future, and my discussion on the on the past and on the impact this my YouTube channels have had on me, well then go ahead and like the video, maybe even share it wherever you think other people will also like the video. If there is anything you'd like to add, either to myself or to or to the videos I've suggested, that's what the comment section is for. And if you want to see when my next video gets released, well then please subscribe. And ideally also ring the bell or do whatever else YouTube will ask of you in order to keep you notified. I have a main channel where I talk about book-related and literature topics, so if that is in any way interesting to you, that's you should go and check it out in the description, right past my social media links, which I also suggest you look at in case you'd be interested in it. In case you'd be interested in that. I also have a Patreon where, depending on the level at which you pledge, you will receive various perks, the specifics of which I'll allow you to discover for yourselves. And if you want to hear me, if you want to hear more about me, if you want to hear more from me talking about, not book related topics, then you can stay on this channel and go through my backlog, where I talk about, movies, TV series, video games, politics, and a whole bunch of other stuff, whatever comes to mind. And yeah, I am officially out of things to say. Until next time, I have been the One Take Man.